have Dr. Antoine Garibaldi here with me. And Dr. Garibaldi, why don't you tell our audience who you are?
President of University of Detroit Mercy.
And you are welcome. You are so welcome because that was in our neighborhood growing up, and we always just were familiar with the gym. We called it the big house, you know.
Right.
The Catholic schools played there and all of that. What have you thought of the symposium so far?
Well, I think the symposium is great. It's great to see so many young people as well as individuals who obviously are probably doing second careers and are excited about entrepreneurship opportunities in the city and really in this whole Southeast Michigan area. So I think it's great to bring a very diverse group of individuals together to hear about what's going on and then also to hear about some potential projects that are likely to be started over the next few years.
And information is very, very important because sometimes a lot of people don't know where to start.
Right. And I would also say that sometimes people aren't aware of the fact that maybe someone whom they know very well is also engaged in the same kind of enterprise or looking for an opportunity just to really do something that they think they've been thinking about but didn't know exactly how to get started.
Well, you've been in Detroit 5 years now.
This is my 5th year, yes.
And you've become part of Detroit. And I'm sure you've seen some things you say, oh, that could be a little better, or that could be a little better. What would be the top thing you'd say you could, if somebody gave you a wand and said, you can fix Detroit with this one thing?
Well, there are many things
Well,
that
yeah.
need to be, we're not unlike any urban center. I mean, I've lived in New Orleans, my hometown. I've lived in Washington, D.C. 3 times. I lived in Erie, Pennsylvania. I've seen how communities sometimes go through those ebbs and flows. But here, I would say that there is so much optimism and there's also so much opportunity. One thing about Detroiters that I learned very quickly is that Detroiters are loyal. And whether they live in the city today or grew up in the city or once lived in the city or went to school in the city, they still have a very, very close alliance and allegiance to the city. So I think that there have really been many opportunities over the last few years. And whenever I leave town and go someplace else, people are quick to say, how is Detroit doing? I mean, they're really genuinely interested in how the city is doing, and they are aware that there are lots of positive things happening here as well.
So still, what would be the one thing you'd say could fix it?
Well,
The attitude?
no, I think the attitude. I think the attitude is fine. I'm an educator, and so I would say education is one of the key items that we have not fixed yet, and also the fact that if we're going to grow businesses and also stabilize our neighborhoods, we really have to have some good, strong schools.
Yes.
Because people who are going to come here to live and to work and who also want to make it a place where they'll stay for the rest of their lives, we need to have good, strong public schools in the city.
Well, I'm an educator, so you get no argument here.
Right.
Because there's an old saying by Epictetus, I think it's only the educated are free.
Right.
And it does give you a bit of freedom to go on and to open doors for you. If somebody said, listen, give me a business or tell me about a business that could help the city dwellers or the Detroiters or the urban area, what kind of business do you think would be beneficial to this area if you had to think of one off the top of your head?
Well, gee, we were talking earlier in the session about the importance of having, good grocery stores, good markets. I think that that's extremely important, and I think over the last 4.5 years that I've been here, I've been seeing great improvement in that area. With a stronger focus on markets in the city of Detroit. Certainly some of the newer stores, I say, Meyer as one is a good example so that people don't have to leave the city and bring along those tax dollars to an area outside of the city. But people have seen the beginnings of the importance of really investing in the city and also making sure that we have the kinds of stores that we would need. I mean, even in where we are in the northwest neighborhood of Detroit, I mean, there are clearly some very, very important opportunities for stores. Some of the startups that our Detroit Collaborative Design Center and the School of Architecture have been of assistance to are really showing that. I mean, whether it's a fiber business, as one of the individuals has started, or whether it's a bakery, you know, like Good Cakes and Bakes, and other kinds of stores. Rufus Bartel has done a great job,
Yes.
both with his clothing stores and also now getting into restaurants. Eric's Frame Shop's great, a
Right.
great example of that. So there are a lot of neighborhood-based stores that already currently exist, but I think every neighborhood could probably say, I'd like to have that in my neighborhood too.
And if you grew up here, you saw that area where you are and down through 7 Mile, go through a lot of changes, but
Right.
it seems like it's reemerging.
Right.
And we're real happy to see that. Is there anything that you can tell me that University of Detroit is going to be doing, or something good about what's happening?
Well, sure. I mean, people are talking about the Live 6 Alliance along Livernois and McNichols, but I can tell you that there are lots of interested individuals who are very interested in contributing to increased population growth there by rebuilding of homes and maybe even some potential apartments over the next couple of years. That's
good
great
to hear.
because there's a need for investment there. At the same time, there is a need for the tearing down of some of the abandoned homes and structures
Right.
that have been there for such a long time. But with us watching Livernois Avenue, I would say every week brings a little bit more excitement because there's something else that's happening, whether it's the fixing and the installation of the new streetlights along Livernois, which is
That's
happening as we speak. And other kinds of things that are really on the dashboard for what we think is going to be an even more active and vibrant Livernois and McNichols neighborhood.
That is so exciting because the homes over there are beautiful. The structures they're well done. I mean,
They
everything
really are.
everything is good. Well, I really appreciate you coming
Well, thank you for
and
having
talking
me.
to us and being a part of the symposium.
Well, thank you very much for having me.